welcome back to Adventures with Ariel. So, I have something to confess. I've been very eager to try something new on this channel. Don't get me wrong, I love talking about Disney World and other theme parks, and there will be plenty more of that kind of content in the future. But I have been eager to delve deeper into the Walt Disney Company and its history. So, I'm very excited to announce that I am bringing you an entire month of Disney Channel history. That's right, for the next 4 weeks, I'm going to give y'all an in-depth look on everything Disney Channel from the 1980s to today. Every week will be dedicated to a distinct decade in Disney Channel history. We're going to try to cover it all, from Mousercise to That's So Raven to Dog with a Blog. So without further ado, I present you with the history of Disney Channel. But first, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below, as well as that notification bell so you'll get notified every time I post a new episode in the series. You won't want to miss the 90s and 2000s episodes. Those decades pretty much gave us Disney Channel's golden age. Alright, now I present you with the history of Disney Channel. If you're between the ages of 3 and 40, it's very likely that at one point in your life, you were an avid viewer of the Disney Channel. I know I was, but the channel has been through a lot of changes over the years. In the beginning, it was a premium channel that aimed to present its viewers with, quote, traditional Disney live-action movies, shorts, animation, and classic Disney feature-length cartoons. Let's face it, the Disney Channel of today is unrecognizable to those who watched it in the 1980s. It's no secret that the channel has a reputation for being somewhat of a pop star factory, but we'll get to that later. In 1983, the Walt Disney Company had announced that it would be launching a channel that would entertain families with the magic of Disney throughout the years. What was it that led to this announcement? To find that out, we actually have to rewind even further back to 1977. It was then that Walt Disney Productions executive Jim Jamiro brought forth the idea of a cable television network that would feature television and film material from the studio. The company wasn't interested. They were too busy focusing on the development of Epcot Center at Walt Disney World. But eventually, Disney would come back to the idea and decide to develop the Disney Channel as a premium service aimed at a family audience. The Disney Channel launched nationally on April 18th, 1983. Yeah, back then it was the Disney Channel, not Disney Channel. The show to kick it off? A Disney Channel produced series titled Good Morning Mickey. The program featured Disney animated shorts that primarily starred, you guessed it, Mickey Mouse. Donald Duck even had his own version of the show titled Donald Duck Presents. But the animated content of 1980s Disney Channel wasn't just limited to shorts. As the decade progressed, viewers would be introduced to classic cartoons like The Wuzzles, The New Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, and Disney Channel would also become known for its interesting live-action content. Believe me, you won't see anything like these shows on the channel today.
Hi, Musketeers! Hi, Mickey! Let's Mousercise!
Take Mousercise, a series that featured Kellen Plashchert and other Disney characters exercising with a group of kids. The show featured regular segments on exercise, safety, health, and nutrition. This show is so 80s it hurts, but kudos to Mousercise for inspiring a generation of kids to exercise. If you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, you know that there was once a lot of puppet-based shows on television. Shows like The Muppet Show, Fraggle Rock, Alf, Eureka's Castle, and Dinosaurs were huge. Naturally, Disney Channel had its own answer to this trend.
Welcome to you.
Welcome to Pooh Corner consisted of a mix of full-body costumes and radio-controlled puppetronics that kept the mouths and eyes moving. They were kind of like a more primitive version of the Jim Henson costumes featured in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movies. To me, these guys look slightly unsettling. Children of the 80s, were you creeped out by the show? Let me know in the comment section below. In line with the puppet costumed character trend was another show called Dumbo Circus. In this show, Dumbo is all grown up and performs in a circus that he founded on his own. It was basically like a sequel to the original Dumbo. Pretty cool, huh? I wish I were old enough to remember this one. Dumbo Circus would go on to become the longest running Disney Channel original series, lasting for 115 episodes until Phineas and Ferb broke the record 2 decades later.
Wake up in the morning, first sign is out here. that clock? Radio! Sing it in my ear.
In the 1980s, the Disney Channel debuted a few programs that would mark the start of a new trend. That being, the trend of having their actors double as singers. That's right, long before Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, and Hilary Duff, Disney Channel was giving future pop stars their first big break on shows like the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, which many of you are probably familiar with. But before we had the all-new Mickey Mouse Club, Disney Channel gave us Kids Incorporated was a musically oriented sitcom about a group of teenagers who formed a pop group. It mixed everyday situations with variety show and music video style performances. The series ran for 9 years and spawned several future pop stars and actors, including Martika, Jennifer Love Hewitt, and Stacey Ferguson. You probably know her better as Fergie from the Black Eyed Peas, but this could still not compare to the plethora of stars that the all-new Mickey Mouse Club had yet to introduce us to. In 1989, the Disney Channel revived the company's early TV staple, and it quickly became a hit. You see, reruns of the original Mickey Mouse Club had been airing on the Disney Channel since its launch in 1983, and while the show was rather popular with younger audiences, the Disney Channel executives felt that it had become somewhat dated, so they would create a brand new version of the club that would be specifically geared toward modern audiences. Gone were the mouse ears, and in came those rad Mouseketeer jackets, with contemporary scripted and musical segments. A few years after its 1989 premiere, the show would introduce us to the likes of Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera, Justin Timberlake, Ryan Gosling, Kerry Russell, the list goes on. They didn't join the club till the 90s, so we'll get to them later. In closure, the Disney Channel of the 1980s has a special place in television history and the hearts of many 80s kids. Even the President of the United States recognized its importance. Yeah, in 1984, Ronald Reagan gave a special presidential citation to the Disney Channel for its excellent children's television programming. And how could he not? In the 1980s, the Disney Channel gave us classic cartoons, got kids moving, made these guys a household name, and had puppets. I mean, who doesn't love puppets? Alright y'all, well I hope you enjoyed this look into the Disney Channel of the 1980s. If you lived through the decade, then what was your favorite 80s Disney Channel show? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you're like me and the 80s was a little bit before your time, then let me know what show looked the most interesting to you. I have to say I find Mousercise to be oddly intriguing. If no one else can get me to work out, then Mickey Mouse sure can. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll give it a big thumbs up, as well as hit that subscribe button down below. Also, be sure to hit that notification bell so you'll get notified when the 90s video goes up. Alright y'all, thank you so much for watching, and as always, have a magical day.